this way. So what you would do is you would go to PowerPoint and open up these great slides that you've prepared for your case challenge presentation. I'm just going to use our week 13 notes as the example because I'm not going to spend too much time showing you how this works. It's actually quite simple. So you'll see and notice here that I have a record menu on the ribbon. So I have an entire extra tab for recording stuff. Now in my PowerPoint, I also have this whole recording section over here, which I believe if you got your Office 365 from Fanshawe, I don't know if they have that turned on. So you may or may not see that, but that's not even the section I want you to go to make this work. I want you to be able to pull this up. So the way I got that to appear here was by going to File Options. So you need to be doing this. Remember, you're in a video too. I know if you're in my Excel class, sometimes it's hard to keep up when I'm showing you examples like this. You can pause me. You go into File Options. This is the first thing you have to do. Go into File Options, go to Customize Ribbon, and then scroll down here and you'll see this record menu that is likely turned off on your machine. If you already have it turned on, you don't even have to do this. That's great. But that's how you turn it on. So likely what you saw when you came in here, I'm just turning it off for a second, is you don't see that recording tab on there. And you're like, oh, cool, Mike. This is great that you're going to teach us how to record a presentation in here with a little video box and everything, but I don't see that on there. So just go to File Options on a Mac. I believe it's File Preferences. And go to Customize Ribbon. And go down here and click the box to turn on the recording menu. And then when you click OK, that menu will appear there like it was when I opened my PowerPoint because I use this often enough. So using that menu, what you would do is you'd have your slides already prepared. They'd be done. Your PowerPoint file would already be submitted to the Dropbox. And now you're preparing a video file, which will be the second file you submit. If you don't submit this video file with your voice recorded over there and your little video icon in the corner, all of you should be able to do this because you all made great video files in the first few weeks for Bongo. I think you turned in 4 of them. So some of you missed a couple, but I don't think there was one student in this section that we have in the fall of 2023 that didn't do at least one. And I could see you clearly on your screen and everything was good. So you're going to do this inside a PowerPoint by going to Record. And if you click on Audio, this should be turned on. You can kind of test it here and do a quick test record. Your mic should be on. And start on the first slide and record from the beginning. And then any transitions or anything you put in there will be part of this video you're going to make. And your little box down there, I'm going to adjust that slightly so you can see me a little better. I'm just in my home office. This is how easy this is. And you literally just go record and it'll count you down. Hello, classmates. Hello, professor. Hello, the person you're presenting to in the case challenge who has this business. That's who you're going to address because this is not really just for your professor. You're going to assume you're presenting to the person in the case and the people that they work with, and you're giving them a solution. Then you're going to start going through the slides. So it's not going to show this. It's just going to show what's down here. This little box here is showing you what you're recording. So up here, it's telling you what you can do to make this recording go a little better. And I believe you can full screen this, but anytime I've ever done this, I usually just leave these little tips above there and just record through. And then you can go to the next slide and you can go to the next slide. And don't worry about the individual bullet transitions. I think if you want to get into that level of detail on how to get those to come up that way, that's fine. I just want you to record you down there in the corner, like you can see me down there in the corner, talking to the slides and giving me your presentation on what's on the slides. Because otherwise I'm just grading a PowerPoint file and that's not good enough. This is your final presentation, this case challenge presentation. So you go through the slides, you get into each of the slides. That's all broken down in those assignment files. As usual, our class notes have way too much content on them, so we're not gonna get into that. But once you're done, you would hit stop. You can also, pause and take a breath and get a drink and then step right back into the video and hit this again to resume recording. Or when you're done, you hit the stop button here. So it's a very simple interface. It automatically puts your picture down there. You can kind of move that around. If you go back to where we started the video, you can kind of adjust how you want that. I think the lower right is a good spot for it. It could also be upper right. And when you're done recording, you hit stop. But don't forget that you can pause during the recording too. Stop. And now it will generate a video file. So all you have to do to get that video file once you're done recording, don't just hit escape or leave here. Then you've just left without keeping your recording. You have to remember to do this in here. You have to go in here and hit export. So now it says, oh, cool, you just made a video. You want to export? Yeah, sure. This is my video for the week 13 class notes. You can browse and put it wherever you want. If you want to stick it in your downloads or on your desktop so it's easy to find. I'm going to put mine right into my documents. I think if not, it puts it into a folder having to do with your PowerPoint, and then it'll show you where it is. I would choose where you put it. You guys are comfortable with this from the Excel course. And it'll take a minute to export. I'm just going to pause the video while this is exporting. If you get into the full 7 minutes of your presentation, this could take like, a good half an hour to export. It depends on how fast your computer is. So I'm just going to pause the video while it's exporting, then I'll turn it right back on once it's done. Okay. Okay, so my video is done. It took about 3 minutes. I mean, and that wasn't a very long one. My computer is pretty overloaded right now, so yours might be quite a bit faster. And the video itself was only, let's see how long it was. So I have it there. So mine was 2 minutes long. I guess here's why I'm bringing this up. This is a very simple way and a great solution for us to be able to have you all do 7+ minute presentations as per the instructions and show me that you're looking professional and you're down in the corner and you're speaking clearly and you're running with the 5 Ps and you're completing your presentation. But it does take a minute to export, and it will do the same thing if you choose the Zoom option, which again, I'm really pushing for you guys to just use your PowerPoint applications that you have installed on your laptops, and it's that easy. But that took a bit of time for it to export, a few minutes, but only for, so please don't be recording this at like 11:51 p.m. the night it's due, and then send me a million emails about why you couldn't get it in on time. You can't send me a file this large in an FOL email. You're going to have to get into the submission box. And I'm really making this easier on you guys by allowing you to submit your presentation this way. I'm kind of thinking it's a cool way to do it. It's even a little bit different than the online sections of this course do it because they still have to do it in Bongo. But I thought, you know what? You've used that a bunch. Here's a real world application of how you could record a presentation and send it to somebody. And in that case, you'd probably use like a file sharing platform. You just put it in your Google Drive and tell them to download it, because this is not going to be a small file that you would email to somebody, but you will have no issues putting it in the FOL submission box. So that's what I want you to do. It's that simple. Record your presentation using PowerPoint. We're not going to do it in Bongo. I'm not going to make you record it with a camera. And then there are so many options to do this. The easiest of which is pulling up the record menu in PowerPoint and simply using the record options. Okay, one more thing I wanted to mention before I talk about submission. I did mention when we started recording how when you go to the record tab, you can test your audio there. You can, but I talked about how you can move the video capture that shows you presenting around on the slide if you don't want to have it in the lower right. But that's only something you can actually do after the recording has been done and associated with the PowerPoint file. So, and I'm just throwing this in there at the end here to make sure you guys know this is an option, because if you have your machine at a meeting or something and you've hooked up to a podium with a projector or something like that, and you want to just play the PowerPoint file, the way it works, you would just hit the presentation button like this. Here, check it out.
Hello, classmates. Hello, professor. Hello, the person you're presenting.
Okay, so on and on. So this will play the video recording and the audio with the slides in PowerPoint. And if you're going to be playing it back that way, which is not what I'm expecting for this assignment, once the recording is attached to it, and if you don't move the file in the folder you saved it in, that's how it's like associated with it, you can move your video feed to wherever you want. You can even resize it. You can make it a little smaller, bigger, whatever, and have it where you want it. But for the purpose of this presentation, you're going to submit the slides without this associated with it because the connection won't work once it leaves your computer. And then you're going to submit the separate video file, which if I go back to documents here, you can see there are the PowerPoint slides. So finish those and
Hello,
submit
classmates.
them. Oh, it's
hello,
playing
professor.
It's
Hello,
playing in the
person
preview
you're
window.
presenting.
Okay, so you have the video file here, MP4, which is just a video with the same audio showing the slides running and showing me going through it. But then it attaches that recording to the PowerPoint file. So you could see the functionality of this if you start to record your presentations like this. But what I need is a copy of the slide deck and then a copy of the video file. So you don't have to worry about adjusting that later. It's just because I had mentioned it earlier in the video. I did want you to see how you can adjust that. And it's something that you do after the video has been associated with the file. For most of you, the lower right corner is great. So yeah, I would just leave it. You don't need to, because you've already submitted the slides at that point, and then you go back to the submission box in FOL, you find the video in the folder you put it in, you submit that. That's why I'm saying it's got to be done on time, because you do have a deadline on this. And that's how I would prefer you record this presentation using the PowerPoint recording tool. If for one reason or another you just don't want to do it that way, I don't know why you wouldn't. You should all have PowerPoint on your computers. It's free at Fanshawe College. You all have working video and audio on your laptops because you all did pretty decent bongo videos in the first few weeks. So why would you not want to use PowerPoint? But if for some reason you'd rather use Zoom, that is another free option that I had pulled up this video here that I'll link to our content. This is a guy I've used for some Excel stuff too, our buddy Kevin here. And he shows how easily you can just use Zoom as a screen capture tool. So you wouldn't actually be recording within PowerPoint. You'd just be recording whatever you'd be doing on your entire screen. And it also exports an MP4 file. But really, I'm giving you a couple options just in case there's something going on weird with a Mac or something's going on with your computer, because I know Zoom will work for everyone. But I would prefer that you use the PowerPoint option and record it in here using the recording tools. And then I have an actual live video of you recording and speaking to me with audio over your slides. So it's not just the slides you're turning in, it's the slides and a video of you presenting the slides. And then you would go to FOL. I already have the submission folders up here. So this case challenge folder is going to be your PowerPoint file as a number one. So everybody's going to submit 2 items, the slides and a video file. And if you don't submit it by the time it's due, I'll probably have a Dropbox like this extended to a degree, but late submissions will affect your mark because you got a lot of time to still get this done. You're getting this video like a week in advance and you should already, I mean, for 2 weeks, we've already covered what you need to do. So you could have already been working on that for 2 weeks. Now you just need to make the video. So that's it. And then after this formal presentation, which is your second to last presentation deliverable, you'll do your elevator speech, and that one will be done in Bongo, and you'll get an email with instructions on that. For this one, I thought I better do a video to make sure everybody knows how to set up PowerPoint. So that's it. It's been great having you guys in the class. Hit me up on FOL email for the rest of the term and make sure you get your stuff submitted.